Miracles follow and arrive almost inevitably, provided we take the first step. And it's a first step based on action, not just on prayer. Prayer is a necessary but not a sufficient element to bring about miracles. There is a presumption that God delivers whatever you ask. And like any good father or any good mother, God will very often say no. What we ask for and what we want may not necessarily be in our best interest. So people assume, well, I guess I'm not going to get a miracle. That's not exactly how miracles work, and that's not what they're all about. But if Noah had to put his faith in God, and why did God make a 600-year-old man work so hard to build an ark? I mean, obviously he was going to be saved by a miracle. Why couldn't God have just done the miracle, right? Just let God have made the ark. That's the key question. Crossing the Red Sea, miracle, right? Clearly a miracle. Now, if you take a look at the verses, it's really very interesting. The Israelites are told to march into the water, and only after that will the water split. So everybody has to get their tuxedos wet, their Armani shoes have to get soaking. If God's going to do a miracle anyways, I mean, you're going to have to do a miracle to split the Red Sea. Why don't you do it in time and let everybody walk over without getting wet? The answer in all cases is we all bring miracles by acts of determined faith. God was certainly going to save Noah and his family and all the animals during the turbulent storm and the flood, but Noah had to do his part. And he had to withstand the ridicule of all the people in his neighborhood. This was like a very bizarre backyard boat building project. And only after that was the miracle brought into existence. You don't get miracles from sitting in an armchair, no matter how fervently you pray. And the Israelites obviously were going to receive the miracle of getting away from the Egyptians with the splitting of the Red Sea, but not until they had acted with determined faith, walked in, and tradition has it they walked in, the water came right up to their necks before it split. And that's how it works. And that's the key thing. And the mistake that so many of us make is, metaphorically, we sit back in the armchair and saying, doesn't God care about me? Yes, he does, but you need to know how the world really works. And the way God created this world is everybody can have a miracle. But you've got to start it off. You've got to commit an act of determined faith. If you look at the verses, it's perfectly obvious that the water doesn't split until they actually march forward. No matter how unpleasant Egypt really was, it's preferable to the unknown. And I think that's true for almost everybody, even today. This was a solid, rapid decision. Moses said, we're all leaving Egypt. 80% of the people said, oh, no, we're not. He didn't do it incrementally. And that's why only 20% left. It's very understandable. Look, there are many aspects of ancient Jewish wisdom that are shocking, even disturbing. And the point is that nobody ever grows by being massaged with warm butter. By just surrounding ourselves in a cocoon of predictable comfort, we stay exactly the same. There's no movement, there's no challenge, there's no growth. And so much of ancient Jewish wisdom's unpacking of the encoded data that is found within the Hebrew language in Scripture is designed to shock us out of complacency and share information with us that is true and disturbing. Now, there is much information that one can obtain in the world which is untrue and very comforting. We prefer information that is true, even if it is disturbing. And one example of that information is that only 20% of the Israelites chose to follow Moses out of Egypt. The rest became assimilated into Egypt and faded away and vanished as Egyptian civilization faded away and vanished. That rule applies whenever the going gets tough. You can count on 20% of the people. That's the rule. But in Hebrew, when one word means two things, you have to merge them. The word Egypt is not just the name of a place in North Africa. The word Egypt in Hebrew means straitjacket, something that locks you up, something that constrains you. And that's what Egypt is. It's a place that limits and restricts your capacity to achieve God's destiny for your life. These things that restrict us can be financial problems, they can be marital problems, it can be addictions, it can be pornography or alcohol or drugs. All of these things are Egypt's. And getting out of Egypt is why we need those 12 chapters of Exodus. It literally is a step-by-step blueprint to bring a miracle into your life. This important principle that you can have a miracle in your life, I can have a miracle in my life, everybody can have miracles when they need them in their lives, provided they know, recognize, and build up enough confidence to take that determined act of faith in the first place. So you're going to do a miracle, because you have to kickstart your own miracle.